And we're back with another day in the market. We're going to give some updates on some really key stocks today, and we're going to start with AMC. Also, I'm just going to cover the S&P 500 for an overall analysis of the market and where I think it's headed. We're at a very, very interesting time with the market, whether you're someone that wants to go long or short. This is kind of a moment that we've been waiting for. There's certain times in trading where things are just too overvalued to get in as far as a long position, but you don't know when that bubble is going to pop, so you don't necessarily want to get into a short until you start to see signs that the market is turning sentiment, right? And for the longest time, it is sort of the gray area that we were in. But we're going to start with AMC right now. Now, AMC is down 7.72%. There is a lot going on with this stock right now, diluting shares and deciding whether or not they're going to raise money at certain times. None of it's good news. At the end of the day, I encourage you to do your research. But if we are looking on the daily on it, we're going to see if there's something we can learn from. So let's bring up the MACD right now. And on the one day, if I just zoom in, you can see that we had a floor somewhat right around here at the about $33.99 mark, so about the $40 mark. We were kind of slowly just going lower and lower and lower, and then we hit that cliff. And there's been a lot of bad news right now. What's interesting is actually the MACD called it at $32.39 on the 15th of August. And we are down currently to about $11.72. So right here, you have an entry position for a short according to our setup. Okay, so let's go over our setup really quick. Again, we are below the market bias indicator and it's red. That's check to go short. You have the MACD crossing below the zero line. That is a indication to go short. You have price action below these moving averages right here, and you have the yellow moving average over the blue moving average. That is another indication to go short. And then really just the RSI, just to confirm, you're kind of using this as a resistance, this moving average line right here. If we zoom that up, you can see that we're using it as a resistance. That is a final indication to go short. So that would have been very good call. Is it too late to get in now? No, absolutely not. Just because of all the bad news, all the bad, FUD. It could be legitimate FUD in this point. From a technical analysis standpoint, we kind of missed the mark a little bit right here. We're pretty late. However, fundamentally, I don't think it's a bad stock to short just because of all the bad news. It's chaotic right now. AMC is somewhat of a dumpster fire. Okay. So S&P 500 is going to reflect a lot of what we have in the big named, specifically the tech sectors, okay? So we have had this long rally, and if you got in right here, which would have been an entry according to our setup, you would have fared pretty well. Would have got in, let's say about 407, peaked at about 459. We're down to 442. And right now, this is why I am pretty excited for the near future, because we're finally getting somewhat of a breather on here that we've wanted to get for a long time. We did not want to get in going long way up here because we don't know when that little mini bubble is going to pop, when we're going to see that breather, okay? So what we're in right now is we're in breather status. So what I mean by that is we are still in an uptrend and we're green and above the market bias indicator, okay, as far as the price action. But that's about it. We are below the zero line on the MACD if we bring this up. So that is showing that we are either changing trend or we are just in a little bit of a breather. So what that means is we are either going to look for a short position or look for the breather to be over and get into a long position off of the end of that breather. What would that be as far as going long? Well, going long, what that would be is the MACD coming back up above that 0 line while we are still above this market bias indicator. The RSI would be using the simple moving average right here as support, which looks like it could potentially be doing that. Right now, it's just a little early to tell. That's why consolidation is really nice, because you can see when consolidation is over, and it looks like it might have been. So this is looking a little promising from that standpoint. And so what we would really like to see is one of these green arrows while we're above the market bias indicator. For those of you that need a reminder, this green arrow is just something I created to help me see when the MACD line crosses above and below the 0 line. So right here will be a red arrow, right here will be a green arrow, right here will be a red arrow. And we have right now a red arrow because the MACD is now below that 0 line. So what we're looking for if we're going long is we're looking for that cross back above while it's still above that market bias indicator, which it might do. However, this could go further down. This could hit the market bias indicator. It obviously could go below the market bias indicator. We don't know. So we're looking to enter a position, but we don't know right now if it's a long position or if we're going to enter a short. We're waiting for the technicals to show us what to do. And that is going to reflect on a lot of these other tech sectors. So you have Meta is acting very much the same way. You have, let's check out NVDA to see what NVDA is doing. NVDA has been a little bit stronger compared to a lot of the other tech sectors, especially. I remember this day here, it was up like 3% or 4% or something. It was just pretty crazy. So this would have been an entry right here. So you could have entered there on a small position and just rode it out until we are back below. So for zooming in right now and you entered there, you're not selling yet. You're just going to ride out that uptrend, and we're going to see what happens. The downside about getting into NVIDIA overall is it is at darn near all-time highs. It has blasted through the peak of 2021. And when we had that little bit of a downturn in the market, it has completely erased all of that. So it is very overbought at this point, and it's a little risky to get into. However, if you've been shorting the stock, it has also been terrible for you as far as performance. So NVIDIA is one of those, again, it's in that little weird zone, but it's a perfect example of what I'm going to be looking for as far as the S&P 500 if we are going to go long, and that would be this arrow right here. So maybe NVIDIA is ahead of the game. Maybe NVIDIA is showing what the S&P 500 and the rest of the stocks are going to be doing. We can take a look at any more. Let's see. Let's take a look at Apple. And Apple, again, is going to be one of those things where if we want to go long, we're going to wait for, let's get the MACD up. Now we have that cross, which is good for a long position. You want to see that cross. I wouldn't be opposed, or it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to buy a small share in Apple right now, because overall it tends to go up. So if you're wrong in the short term, you can hold on to it. Plan Bs are okay in trading. That can do you very well. Okay. So, and you can see historically on the MACD, if you have just bought at the cross, it has done very well for you. Going back, there's a little bit right here, but that's under the market bias indicator. So look at above the market bias indicator, which is where we're at. So not the worst thing in the world. Now, could this absolutely go back down to a lower, another lower low? Yeah, of course we could. You can see like right here would be something very similar where, okay, you bought right around here, you made some good profits, but you hung on to it and then you erased all your profits, right? So if you're going to get into it and you're going to just try to swing trade it, and you don't want to wait, fully for that MACD line across above the 0 line. It could be a small position, and you got to have a profit target. Okay. Let's do one more. Now, what I really am going to be looking for to follow the S&P 500 is SQQQ and TQQQ. SQQQ is an inverse ETF. It can be kind of funny to trade because if you zoom out, look at that, it kind of screws up your technicals a lot, as you can kind of see. So if you don't want to look at SQQQ, you can instead just short or go long on TQQQ, which is an inverse to the inverse ETF of the triple Qs, which is the NASDAQ. Okay, so why is this great? Well, it is. You can see highly more volatile. If back at the bottom of the COVID crash, you bought a share, let's just say $8.53. At the peak, it would have went up to over $90, a little over $90, $91. So huge amount of volatility there. Your gains are going to be substantial. Your losses are going to be substantial. Okay, so it's a good thing. It's a really good ETF to trade. Even, if you have smaller amount of money in your account and you want to take advantage of that volatility, can absolutely do so. Obviously, it's a little bit more risky, right? So where are we right now? Well, it's going to reflect pretty similar to the S&P 500, but it can be a little bit different, obviously, because it's not exactly the same, or even, with the QQQ, same deal, right? It's going to look very, very similar, but it's not going to be exactly the same. But I'm going to be watching this guy, okay? It does look like we have a little bit of just a rejection here. So we've been going down, and now we back test, and we failed, and we went up again. And as of right now, although we are still up on the day, 0.71%, because we're above the previous candle, looks like it's being rejected right now. So I am excited. I am really looking forward to this price action of the TQQQ meeting this market bias indicator and just seeing how it reacts and just waiting for an entry signal. So that's all I got for you today. I do apologize for not being on too much lately. I've just had a ton of work to do on other projects that I have going on in both my professional and private life. Trying to get a lot of those out of the way so that I can focus on doing more videos. The algorithm likes it a lot more if you post every day or post regularly. So moving forward, I'm going to try really, really hard to not have these large gaps in between. Sometimes it can be difficult to look at stocks every day, and you have one more candle than you had the previous day, and you have to make a video off of that one new candle. But it is what it is, and trading changes so quickly, and we're always going to have new stocks come up on the stock screener, so there will always be new things to watch in every video. So stick around for that, even if sometimes the S&P 500 or maybe some of the bigger guys are a little bit redundant. I appreciate everyone for watching. The best thing you can do, honestly, really is to help out the channel is to just hit the like button. But if you want to see more of the content, hit the subscription bell and the notification bell so you can see all of my latest content as soon as it comes out. Until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks.